Was there an era before the stuffy, overdressed press secretary days? There actually was, and it made Karoline Leavitt look like a totally different person. Leavitt usually fails at attempts to keep it casual, but it hasn't always been that way. Before she was fully recruited by the Trump administration, Leavitt showed that she was still capable of dressing casually and pulling it off while on the job. Leavitt almost immediately started climbing up the political ladder after graduating from St. Anselm College, and started working in the White House during Trump's first administration by responding to emails on his behalf. She was later hired by her predecessor, former White House press secretary Kayleigh McEnany, as her assistant. But even then, things weren't going totally downhill for her style choices. Later, after Trump lost the 2020 election, Leavitt decided to leave her own mark on the political world by running for her home state of New Hampshire's 1st congressional district. When you look at Leavitt during this era of her political career, you can see a slightly different side to the Republican candidate. She billed herself as the first Gen Z nominee for Congress, and her campaign style definitely reflected that. In a lot of her promotional videos and photos from her campaign, Leavitt couldn't have played it simpler. While she's still obviously wearing makeup in most of these, it's a more toned-down look that feels much more natural. Whether she was out carousing with the constituents or making campaign videos, she tended to pick normal, everyday outfits that were much more relatable than the kinds of things she wears these days. For one meet and greet, she chose a simple pair of white shorts and a breezy floral print blouse. For another one, she opted for a similar style with a casual summer dress with a colorful blue print. The relaxed and wholesome style made Leavitt seem more down-to-earth and approachable, which might have been the intended vibe it was trying to give off. Going back even further, the transformation is even more noticeable. Check out this photo from 2015 when Leavitt was studying at St. Anselm, or this sunny snap from 2017 which shows the usually stuffy press secretaries sun-kissed and smiling. Of course, you have to ask, did her breezy style help her win the election?
The answer is no.
When all was said and done, Leavitt ended up losing to this guy, incumbent Chris Pappas. But regardless of how the election turned out, it was a refreshing glimpse into the way Leavitt used to present herself, which is a far cry from what you see today. Although it's a style that might not have taken her far in the political scene, it's one we wouldn't mind seeing her return to again. What changed since then? Well, there's no doubt plenty of pressure to always look your best when you're briefing the press several times a week. And the oft-mocked MAGA look of the administration probably plays a part. But the biggest change is that Leavitt has inexplicably begun dressing older than her age. Leavitt's style has been the target of a few criticisms ever since joining the White House. And her tendency to wear clothes that appear to be designed for someone 20 years older is a big part of that. Even during moments where she's donned her leggiest White House looks, Leavitt can still come off like she's borrowing clothes from her much older MAGA contemporaries. And in pictures and videos where Leavitt is in full press secretary mode, her fashion gives off a sense of authority and regality that might make her seem unapproachable to the average American voter. Maybe one day she'll dig some of these old gems out of her closet and go back to a more casual dressing style.